Good morning, BNI. This is Yash Vasant, an Executive Director of BNI India. Today, I wanted to speak to you about a concept, which is simply, why BNI? In order to drive this message home, I wanted to give us an analogy. All of us have heard of this university called Harvard. My question to you is, why does Harvard produce some of the best leaders in the world? I mean, historically and consistently, Harvard has produced people which have changed the world in more ways than not. Why does Harvard do this so consistently? If you think about it, and if I ask you this question, I'll get all sorts of answers. Some of the answers I'll get is because the professors are great, or because the infrastructure is great, or because the books that they give are great, the curriculum is great. But actually, if you think about it, Harvard produces the world's greatest leaders simply because Harvard lets in only the world's greatest leaders. Harvard accepts about 2 to 5% of its applicants. That means that if you're going to take in gold, you're going to give out gold. And it's this filtration mechanism that has ensured consistently that Harvard produces results each time and every time. Now, if you think about it, isn't BNI just a big fat filtration mechanism? And not just that, I'm here to tell you that BNI is the world's best filtration mechanism. So think about it. In BNI, when a visitor is invited, one of us members thought that visitor was worth inviting into our meeting room. We thought that he was someone who, if we invited, would uphold our reputation and his in our chapter. And hence we invite him to a BNI meeting room. Once he's invited, he has to actually wake up early in the morning and wear a suit and boot and come into the meeting. That's a second filter. Next, the visitor comes in, he stays through the entire meeting, and then he actually has to fill in the application form. He fills in the form, and the vice president and the membership committee, they get together and they must approve his form through a due diligence process. Another filter. Once he's into the chapter, he still has to go through a process where he has to wake up once a day, once a week, every single week, and come into a BNI meeting. He comes in and he must perform each time and every time. And when he does that and he stays for more than 6 months, that's a filter in itself, because it takes a certain kind of man to do that. Next, if you look around the room with you, look at it, we're not little children. Why do we have a green smiley pin on there? We have a green smiley pin on there because out of 50, 60, 100 of you in the room, how many of you have a green smiley? I'd say about 2%, 5% of the room. Isn't that a filter? How about any black badge holders or gold club members in the room? There's maybe 1 or 2 in the entire room surrounding you today. That's a filter. The leadership team, out of all of us phenomenal leaders who become BNI members, because believe it, we're all overachievers in our own sense. One of you is the president. One of you is the vice president. One of you is the secretary treasurer, and so on. Each one of us has gone through a filter to lead this group of leaders. Add to that, there's another filter. If you're on the director team or the ambassador team of any BNI region in the world, you've gone through another filter. And friends, in this world, there's one thing that we have an abundance of today, and that is choice. And BNI is that one filter that filters amongst all of the choices that you have and tells you that these are the right people to do business with. So leaving aside about 3% of the world's businesses, like a Walmart or a McDonald's, to me, 97% of us businessmen have only one way to grow, and that is through our networks. And hence, BNI is the most powerful way and the only way for us to grow. Thank you. This is Yash Vasant, an Executive Director from BNI India.